according to information from the Vietnamese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. During his visit to the US as a special envoy of General Secretary to Lam to discuss bilateral economic and trade issues, Deputy Prime Minister Hồ Đức Phớc met with US Trade Representative Jameson Greer. At the meeting, the Deputy Prime Minister suggested that although the US had decided to postpone the imposition of tariffs for 90 days, the two countries should soon negotiate a bilateral trade agreement to create a long-term framework, promote stable and mutually beneficial economic and trade relations, in line with the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. In response to the above developments, Professor Hà Tôn Vinh, former director of the training program at California Miramar University, USA, expressed his belief that the two economies will find a common voice for development cooperation. Responding to the question about US President Donald Trump's announcement to postpone optimal tariffs for 90 days on more than 75 countries but not impose retaliatory tariffs on the US, Professor Hà Tôn Vinh said that this is just a temporary postponement so that Mr. Trump and his assistants have more time to discuss and determine the next direction. Currently, many states in the US are experiencing protests against Mr. Trump's tariff policy, while dozens of countries have also expressed their desire to negotiate unilaterally with the US. It can be said that Mr. Trump's foreign policy has been successful to some extent in forcing countries to clearly reveal their stance and attitude. However, this postponement of tariffs is not indefinitely, but simply a strategic move to prepare for the next moves with China. The US now sees China as a competitor for the top position, not a partner. China wants to challenge the US's position, so the US will certainly not let it be, and many challenges are still waiting ahead. Professor Hà Tôn Vinh emphasized that the US imposes tariffs on countries to address the trade deficit, which is eroding the country's advantage. US goods, especially high-tech products and machinery, are difficult to sell due to price competition. From the perspective of Vietnamese consumers, imported goods from the US are currently expensive, so most still prefer to choose cheaper products, mainly from China. Only a small number tend to consider buying US goods. However, if Vietnam and the US sign a bilateral trade agreement and commit to eliminating import tariffs on consumer goods from the US, consumption trends in Vietnam may change. Professor Hà Tôn Vinh said that to gain a market, Vietnam needs to maintain its market, find alternative products and take advantage of its competitive advantages. Multilateralization is not just about selling to many markets, because not all have high purchasing power like the US. Expanding export markets must go hand in hand with maintaining and exploiting traditional markets well. For Vietnam, for every 100 dong exported, 30 dong is exported to the US, a very large trade figure. Therefore, negotiating with the US is an urgent task that needs to be done quickly to resolve the issues within 90 days. Vietnam needs to build scenarios and make substantial commitments to strengthen trust and create a solid foundation for future trade cooperation.